I'd like to welcome everyone to the Department of Education and ask that you please silence all of your electronic devices. The goal is to facilitate a fair and responsible hearing, so therefore I ask that each person that speaks, please state your name and title for the record. I ask that you continue to speak clearly into the microphone throughout your presentation for the benefit of the panel, this audience, and the viewing audience. The meeting is being live streamed and recorded, and a transcript of the meeting will be posted on the DESE website. So I'm here today before you as your new charter panel chair. I'm following in the footsteps of Ms. Deborah Kaufman, who was our Assistant Commissioner of Public School Accountability. It's huge shoes to fill, and I'm really honored to have been appointed to this position. So I just wanted to let you all know that is the new state of affairs. So thank you so much. All right, so good morning everyone, and good morning to our panel members. We have a consent agenda before you today, and that contains the minutes from last month's meeting. If there are no questions, I'll accept a motion to pass the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Dr. Wright McMurray and seconded by Carly Saraceni. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? All right, the motion passes. All right, so our first item on the agenda, Ms. Summons, would you like to present that item?
Good morning, Dory Summons, the DESE Public School Charter Director. We have Bauxite Minor Academy is requesting to remove the ALE from Minor Academy and place the ALE for grades 6 through 8 under the Bauxite Middle School and place the ALE for grades 9 through 12 under Bauxite High School. Ms. Ann Webb is representing Minor Academy. She's here this morning.
All right, thank you very much.
Good morning, panel members. Chastity Wagner with DESE Legal. Just here to give you your operating procedures as we head into these hearings. So as we all know, the applicants, which in this case is Bauxite Minor Academy, and then we also have Bowdoin Charter here as well, will get 20 minutes to present their case. I'm sure they will not take 20 minutes. We have received no opposition. So after they present their case, the CAP is free to ask all of the questions to them that you wish. And Chair, I just have you swear everybody in, and then we're good to get started.
All right, thank you so much. All those who plan to speak on behalf of the charter, if you will rise and raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right. Yes? Mm-hmm. So I think we're ready for the presentation.
Good morning. My name is Ann Webb, and I am the principal at the Bauxite Minor Academy, which is our charter conversion school. Today we are requesting that the ALE that is currently under the charter be placed under each of the LEAs for the individual schools, Bauxite Minor Academy and Bauxite Middle School and Bauxite High School. The ALE for the elementary is currently under the LEA for Pine Haven Elementary. So we are wanting to move those out from under there. And the reason is because of numbers. It's a numbers game when it comes to ESSA scores. And this current year we had 2 kids who could not test. Main reason is because we couldn't find them. One was a runaway, and the other, we couldn't find them. Juvenile Services couldn't find either one of them. And so we had 15 kids test, well, 13 of the 15 tests. So that brings our percentage down pretty low, which could be an accreditation issue. So I may be back here covering that again. But that's the main reason, is the low numbers. Now, Bauxite Minor Academy, it covers all the high school and all of the middle school kids so they can take classes, should they want to take an online class. So in this case, we had 194 kids total taking classes down there, but the full-time number is low. So mostly seniors, because they like taking a few classes and then being done and gone and go work or go to school or whatever they choose to do. So that's our main reason for wanting to move this out from underneath the charter school LEA and put it under the individual schools like Pine Haven is. This has been approved through, I've went through Dr. Hogue, or Mr. Hogue, and Dr. Gardenhire, and we have received our approval letter from them on this regarding that for each of those two schools. And I would still be covering I would be over the director over the ALEs at each of those schools. That's it.
Okay. Any questions from the panel?
Well, let me ask a question, and I'm a commercial business guy, so the ALEs and all this, the abbreviations sometimes get me. I'm not as familiar with them as you all are. I guess and I understand why you want to do this. I understand your point, and I guess I'm just going to ask you: is this are you just fixing this one-time problem, or is this a strategic change that you would have wanted to have fixed, even if these two children could have been found? And does it affect how you educate kids? And I mean, walk us through, other than just the fact that you had two missing students, why would you want to make this change? Well,
Yes, sir. Thank you for the question. It does not change anything as far as teaching these students. They still have their certified ALE teacher. We have teachers that go. In fact, that teacher has been certified this year with the 5511. I think it's the praxis that he passed, so he can cover more in that classroom. We have these students who still take their electives with a certified teacher. So the main reason is when we don't find a kid, when we can't find a kid, such as was the case this year, it affects us. It affects our scores. It will affect our scores. And the juvenile system is doing everything they can. Judge Hertzfield, he's great, but you still can't, when you can't find kids, you can't find kids. And I could probably drop them from the roll, but that tugs on my heartstrings too, because I don't want to lose a kid. So we try to find them. Now, we did find not one of those, but there was actually 3 kids, but we did find that one. We actually had our SRO go out and pick her up and bring her to school for testing, the whole week of testing. So it's just, nothing changes really with the LEA being under the high schools. I still cover them. I still communicate with Dr. Gardenhire and Mr. Hogue through the ALE departments, and nothing else really changes.
So the way that you oversee and manage the schools stays the same? I guess is what you're saying, that this is really just a bookkeeping change, and I get it. I get that. I get the reason for that. Let me ask you this, and this will be my final question. When you set these up, should you have set them up as you're proposing to change them to now? Would that have been a better way to do it? And I guess maybe that's the question for Desi. Is this unusual? This request unusual? Or are there other schools out there that operate this way? And that's all I have.
So, my question will kind of, I think, help clarify that. So the number that gets reported on the ESSA School Index, it has to be a 15 or above. So otherwise, it's not reported. Not is that on the report card or ESSA School Index, Tiffany? That is on ESSA School Index. And so that means that would not actually be reported out to the state. And so my question is, you've got 15 in there now in grades 6 through 11.
Yes, sir.
So how many of those are ALE students that you would be moving out?
I'm trying to think. We had, of those 15 that we had, the 2 kids we couldn't find were ALE.
Mm-hmm.
The 3rd kid that we did find, the child we found was ALE, and then the rest of them were tested. So we average about less than 10 kids in our ALE
Okay.
each semester.
So Tiffany, would you mind just for a moment speaking to what that means for accountability?
Tiffany Grayer, Coordinator of School Performance and Monitoring here at DESE. So we have a minimum in size for reporting and for federal identification here at DESE, which means that for any group of students, any subgroup of students, which are all students would be one of those 7 reporting subgroups, you have to have at least 15 in that group to even run an ESSA school index. So teetering on that line, if they were to lose 1 student, we would not run accountability for this school, which greater implications could mean when we do targeted support and improvement notifications every year. There could be subgroups that slip through the cracks of notification. They could go, if they are underserved in the school, they could go without being notified because the subgroups are so small. The school as a whole, if it's an identification year, because they might be under 15, you wouldn't know if they fell in the bottom 5% of their all students in performance. There could be a range of issues because of the size of the school being right around that minimum in size for accountability. I think it goes beyond just worrying about a participation rate.
Thank you. Other questions from the panel?
I do have a question. Okay. So and thank you for that clarification. That helps me understand better, why we're here. My other question relates to, so the students that are ALE students that were at Minor Academy, now that that's being moved out of Minor Academy, will they still be able to participate in what's offered at Minor Academy? Will they still be able to have access to that? Will this switch or change cause them not to be able to be a part of that?
No changes on that part.
Okay.
Oh, ma'am. They still will be a part of they can be a part of anything that's in Minor Academy, yes.
Okay.
They would just be in E-School under the LEA for the high school or middle school, or Pine Haven as they are now.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Just to clarify, all services would remain.
Yes.
It's just virtually changing the LEA numbers.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct?
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. All, social, emotional services, everything. Mental health, everything stays the same.
Other questions? I do have a question about the seniors.
Yes, sir.
So you mentioned that the seniors take a couple of classes and then they end up going and working and doing something else for the rest of the day.
Yes, sir.
And I know the secretary has mentioned a couple of times that that's not something that he wants to see happen.
Okay.
So I guess the question is, is that something you plan on continuing as far as the 2 classes or however many classes they need and them not having a full schedule?
I did not know that's what he wanted. That was his preference. Students who, in the past, students who needed maybe 2 classes, maybe in English or math or in electives, were granted that permission to take their class and then sign out to leave. So we can change it.
I I think there are a lot of options through CTE for internship and things like that that could really help you out.
Right.
And that way they would actually be taking a full schedule instead of, leaving campus. Because the issue with that is once they leave campus, if you're counting the ADM for them for that full day, you're still liable for those students. So
Right,
if,
we do not.
oh, you do not,
They,
okay.
when they sign out, they're
Okay.
signed out for the day.
Okay, okay,
Yes, sir.
yeah. I just want to make that clear
Yes,
because
sir.
that can be a legal liability for you.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
I understand.
Any other discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the amendment request.
A second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, which there's no one left. So, all right, the motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Ms. Summons? Oh, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, just learning my new job. So if we'll take some time to fill out our voting sheets and then we'll come back. Oh, you have already? All right. So, Dr. Wright McMurray, would you like to go first?
I voted for. I support the amendment request. This will allow Minor Academy to correct an issue that is negatively impacting their accountability requirements.
I support the amendment request to the Bauxite Minor Academy involving ALE.
Mr. Davis?
In order to ensure that accountability measures remain in place and students continue to receive access to all possible services, I support this change.
All right, Mr. Baldwin?
Yes, thank you. Yes, I supported the requested amendment also, and I did so because the small size of the student body makes this an appropriate change.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, Ms. Summons?
Okay. The next item, Dory Summons, DESI Charter Director. Bowdoin Area Charter requests a change to the physical location. Mr. Matthew Wells is representing the Bowdoin Area Charter, and he's here this morning.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Wells, if you'll rise and raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? All right.
Morning panel, Matthew Wells, Bowdoin Area Charter School Director. We're here before you today to request a small physical change to our location. We've spent over 20 years in the Bowdoin, Arkansas area, and through those 20 plus years, enrollment has always been somewhat of an issue. I think at our highest, we were 77 students, and that was about 5 years ago. The change that we're looking to make is to move to the Black Rock area, which is really only about 7 miles from where we're currently at. However, they have not had a school in the Black Rock area since 2017. With them not having a school in that area, we do get the feeling that the enrollment will jump significantly. One of the other issues that we have encountered over the course of the years is that we are within 1 mile of the nearest local public school, Sloan Hendricks. Obviously, with 2 schools that close together, there is a lot of competition. Sloan Hendricks has a larger student body along with accessibility to a cafeteria, athletics, things of that nature that really in our current location we're not able to offer. It's our view that with a very minimal financial impact, we can move to a building that's about twice the size along with some other facilities, including athletic fields and a cafeteria that would better serve our students.
Thank you. Any questions from the panel?
Yes, I have a couple questions. You mentioned at your highest you were 77 students. What is your current enrollment size?
We finished last year at 62.
And you said you anticipate that enrollment would increase. What gives you confidence in that anticipation? Have you done any studies, any outreach? And what do you think that enrollment might look like?
Currently, when we sent out a letter at the end of the year discussing this potential move with our stakeholders, 61 of the 62 agreed and were very ecstatic about the idea of moving. Secondly, the city council from the city of Black Rock has pushed forward about 10 to 12 students already that we're looking to enroll if the move does take place.
And what is your charter cap enrollment size?
150.
150. And what was your last report card, state report card grade?
We were a D at the very high end of the D spectrum.
Okay. D as in deliverable. Is that what I heard you say?
I guess you could say that, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Let me ask a question. You had talked about the small capital investment needed to make this move, and you described briefly the facility you're moving into. If you could go into some more detail on that, and are you buying, renting? You know, what does the facility look like as far as rooms, and maybe expand on that. And then also, if you could quantify the capital effect that you would incur and where that money will come from, that would be helpful.
Certainly. First off, just to deal with the capital issue of the matter. Currently, between our monthly rent to our current landlord, along with the majority of our utilities, we spend right around $4,200 per month. The Black Rock City Council has offered us there's several buildings involved, along with our gas, electric, water, sewer, and garbage at the rate of $5,000 per month. So for roughly, $800 to $1,000 a month more, we're getting right around twice the physical size. The building itself at Black Rock was the original Black Rock High School. I want to say that the building was built sometime in the 40s. I want to say it was one of the old WPA buildings. However, the city council has spent a lot of money over the course of the summer remodeling and refurbishing.
So just a clarifying question. Doing some research on the location, there is a museum located at that location, correct?
There is at the moment.
So would that museum stay?
It would. There would be a physical separation between the school building and the museum.
So what would that physical separation look like?
There'd just be a brick wall there.
Okay.
You've mentioned a couple times there's a number of buildings involved. Is this a school campus with all the buildings on the same property, and so security, so you can secure the facility or the buildings? It maybe describe how that would look, the multiple buildings.
Well, actually, I feel like the Black Rock is probably going to be an actually more secure location than what we're in at the current time. Currently, we're right on Highway 63 in Imboden, and there's not a great deal of things around us, so we're kind of wide open in the middle of nowhere there. The Black Rock campus is a little more closed off. It's further into the center of town. Also, they are offering us an SRO for our campus.
Any other questions?
Do you currently know of the 62 you ended with this past year, how many of those are from Black Rock? Have you
Sure.
looked into your data,
Um,
demographics?
From that area, we have probably 20% of our student population coming from that area.
And transportation, and I should know this, is transportation offered?
Absolutely. We run around a 55-mile-a-day bus route. We go
And-
to the communities of Imboden, Ravenden, Black Rock, Portia, Powhatan, Walnut Ridge, Hoxie, Pocahontas, and draw students from each area.
Thank you for that. You mentioned the idea that you are looking at somewhere around $12,000 more potentially a year, just in regards to the lease on the new building. What is the plan, considering there is this appears to be a more sizable building with a number of different amenities? I think someone mentioned track field and so forth. Just from an upkeep standpoint, so now you're at $12,000. How is all of the upkeep managed? Is that something that the city has decided to manage?
Yes, sir.
Or is that okay, so the city will decide.
I'm
to
sorry, I
manage
didn't
that.
mean to disrupt you, but yes.
No, that's okay. Thank you for
The
that.
landlord has put that in as part of the agreement.
I guess you probably talked with all the teachers about this, and let me ask, are they supportive?
They're
Just
already
walk
picking
us
out
through
their
that.
classrooms.
Any other discussion?
I just noticed that Director Kane is on. I didn't know if there were any comments or concerns from facilities that we needed to be aware of or not be aware of.
And I believe Tyrell is here as well, if you'd like to hear from him.
I would like to
Yes,
hear
yes.
about the
Yes.
facilities.
We haven't been on site on this campus, but I just want to provide some potential cost that are new with this, the new ADA compliance rollout, and that is to basically provide a transition to the existing facility to bring it up to ADA compliance. And that's one additional cost, along with your standard SMI, state mandated inspections yearly with the vendors that are tied to them appropriately.
Thank you.
So just for my clarification, the needed modifications to bring it up to ADA qualifications, is all that been considered and incorporated into the expected cost?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Does DESE, does DESE get this information and review it, the financial information? I'm a CPA, so I really like to see numbers, and not just talk about numbers. And right now we're being asked to make a decision without really seeing anything, just having a conversation. That makes me a little bit nervous. If DESE has reviewed these numbers and y'all are signed off on them, I feel better. So that's my question.
Mr. Baldwin, so we actually, before the charter can officially enter into an agreement, they will have to submit a debt request to us, which I will review from the legal standpoint, and I will send it to our finance office to review as well before the official number is signed. Now, I did send this amendment packet to our finance department, and our finance department had no concerns with this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just one last question from me. We spent some time talking about how this potentially can impact enrollment. We spent some time talking about sort of the extracurricular aspect of what potentially this can offer. Can you tell me if you see any sort of, pedagogy impact? How do you see this impacting this new facility? Are there things there that you think will allow teachers and/or students to do what we are most concerned about, them getting good quality education?
It's a great question. And, I feel like one of the biggest factors involved in all of this is, regardless of where we're at, we still have to provide the high quality education that we try to do on a daily basis. And regardless of our enrollment, I still am going to be pushing for a high level of individualized attention to each student. We went ahead over the course of the summer and hired one additional teacher. Typically, we have had 4 teachers for 8 grade levels over the course of the years. I went ahead and did 5. Whether we stay there in the Imboden area or at Black Rock, it gives us a smaller classroom size per teacher so that they can focus more on each student and hopefully get out of that D range.
Thank you.
And this may not be a completely relevant question, but since you're moving to Black Rock, is there any chance that you might come back with an amendment to change the name of the charter?
We've had the same name for over 20 years, and I would hate to degrade that. Yeah. I myself have put 19 years into the place, so it would hurt me to see the name go away.
Thank you. Any further discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve the amendment request.
I second that.
All right. So it's been moved by Dr. Wright McMurray and seconded by Mr. Davis. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, the motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, we'll take just a few minutes on our voting sheets. All right, we'll start with Mr. Davis.
In order to positively impact enrollment and provide additional extracurricular opportunities for students, I support the location change.
Mr. Baldwin?
Yes, the location change and improvement in facilities is a positive step for the school, and I support the requested change.
Dr. Wright McMurray?
I support the amendment request. It will allow the charter an opportunity to increase their enrollment and offer additional facility and extracurricular resources for their students and teachers.
Ms. Saraceni?
I support the amendment request for a change in physical location. This would double the size and allow for growth.
All right, thank you very much. Congratulations. All right, I'll entertain, well, if there's no other discussion, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Any opposed? No? Okay. All right, so we're adjourned. Thank you so much.
Recording stopped.